were covered mainly. Like
Okay.
all those many kosha, pran many kosha, all those 5 koshas are there, right?
Right.
So we covered all those things. So how do we like each kosha like if you want to improve, how do we do meditation, right?
Right.
That's it, right? Is there anything specifically we have to focus on each kosha or?
That's a good question. So I'll change your whole understanding of whatever you learned so far.
Oh my God.
I'll talk something completely opposite of what you learned. So I'll give you start with an example. Suppose a mosquito is biting you and you're watching TV. If you come to Florida, a lot of mosquitoes will bite you. Okay. So a mosquito is biting you, and after some time you feel that burning sensation. And you look at your hand and oh, there is a mosquito. What do? When you see the mosquito, what do? What is your immediate reaction?
Try to swat it away.
Swat it away. Good. And everyone else is thinking what they're going to do. So you swat it away. That's a natural reaction, correct? So when you saw it, it is a mosquito. Who saw the mosquito?
Us.
Okay.
Me only.
Oh, who is that me?
Physical
Who
body.
is recognizing it as a mosquito?
Your physical body.
The ego.
I thought you learned about a lot of anatomy today.
Yeah.
The ego.
Those 5 koshas, no?
So your eyes are only the instruments. What is called karmendriyas. Indriyas. Your eyes is a mirror. It's as good as your specs. Correct? Eyes is only an indriya. So who is recognizing that it is a mosquito?
Your brain.
Buddhi.
Buddhi.
You can say mind. Mind is recognizing that it is a mosquito. Buddhi, intellect. Intellect has this ability to discern. It recognized it as a mosquito. Now, what made you swat it? Where is that instruction coming from?
Vijnanamaya question.
It hijacked its automatic reaction.
Still, where is that coming from?
It's from experience, past experiences.
What if it is a snake? What do? You don't swat it.
Run away or freeze, either way.
So freeze, you either freeze or run away. Right? So which one? What is that which is telling you should either swat, freeze, run away?
The intellect.
Your sympathetic.
Your intellect is already recognized it.
Yeah.
The swatting, the action comes from. So now let us look back, right? So what the mosquito is biting is your physical body. Correct? That is the Annamaya Kosha. Also, you felt the sensation. It is your nervous system, still Annamaya Kosha. Correct? And then that which saw that it is a mosquito, your mind, is part of the Pranamaya Kosha. Okay? But that which said you can swat it, run or freeze or whatever your next action is coming from the next level. Manomaya Kosha. Here Vijnanamaya Kosha is not engaged at all.
So Karmendriya Kosha is
Annamaya Kosha. All your physical existence,
Actions.
everything related to is Annamaya Kosha. Now, how are these 3 koshas? Now we only spoke about 3 koshas here, correct? Now how are these 3 koshas communicating with each other?
Consciousness.
So the only connecting force is the consciousness.
The
The consciousness is making your mind recognize it is a mosquito. Your consciousness is making your body become aware of that burning sensation of the mosquito. If the consciousness is not there, we become a mere, vegetable, a log, nothing else. Correct? So it's a consciousness. What sort of consciousness? Suppose if I am dead, do I have any consciousness?
No.
Not physical consciousness.
Huh?
Not physical consciousness. Physical form is gone after you are dead, but you can have other consciousness.
No, my physical form is still there. I'm
yeah,
dead.
but you are disassociated.
My physical body is still there.
Yeah, but you got disassociated from the certain body got disassociated from the physical form.
Yes. So your physical consciousness is missing there. Okay. So now this is where, so now let's go back to the question of Suresh asked. What is your question, Suresh?
So, I mean, it is twofold. One is, we read all this Koshas in meeting.
Yeah.
What is the use of even, use of this theory? Technically, it is theory, right? What is the use of all these things?
Correct.
And second is that, at least we understood now little part is somewhere is useful. But we still do meditation, other things, right?
Correct.
Is there anything else we have to do separate other than that to improve? Like bliss, what we say.
Correct.
To get that, do we need to do anything different than what we do, like cleaning, meditation, prayer?
Yes.
What's the use of learning all these things?
Yeah, let me now tell you that part. So now we established that consciousness is the connecting part. But a consciousness as it is has no knowledge of body, no knowledge of any koshas, nothing. As it has no knowledge. So where is this information to the consciousness coming from, where it says this is a mosquito? Okay. So this is where the chitta, the memory of the consciousness, it is not the memory of the mind. It is the memory of the consciousness. See, they taught us, it lays eggs at the seashore, on the beach. When the tortoises come out, naturally they walk towards the ocean. None of the tortoise that, what do you call the babies of tortoises, kittens, whatever you want to call it. None of them go back the other way. They all walk towards the ocean. How do they know which direction is the ocean when they come out? See, even the baby which is just coming out of the eggshell has some awareness. Where is this awareness? This awareness is nothing but the memory of the consciousness which it got it from. You can say before it is born. So this chitta is the memory of the consciousness. But this memory of the consciousness, as much as it is useful, it's also a distorting element, which we are really cleaning, the impressions. Right? The impressions are there all the time. The moment we take the birth, we took the birth because there are impressions. So now, when we talk about these impressions are in multiple layers, infinite layers. These layers are formed at the Annamaya Kosha. These layers are formed at the Pranamaya Kosha. These layers, infinite layers, are formed at Manomaya Kosha and the Vijnanamaya Kosha.
Ladu, Australia.
You got it. So, when these layers are formed, all these layers, so just you are only looking at 5 layers, correct? But if you see the between this each layer below it are several layers. So every cleaning we are dissolving one layer. In every sitting we are dissolving multiple layers. In every meditation through the transmission also it is dissolving these layers. So now each layer you can think of it as a state of consciousness associated with it. But as such, it's only one consciousness. Now this is again we confuse ourselves as if there are multiple consciousnesses. There is a lower consciousness, there is a higher consciousness, there is a subconsciousness, supraconsciousness. So many words we have, right? But it is one consciousness. It's like when you're sitting in front of the ocean at the beach, what are you looking at? Ocean, correct? And you're looking at the ocean. At the beach, you see the waves are very strong. They're going and coming and going. You can see the waves. But as you go to the middle of the ocean, there are no waves. It becomes calm. So each part of the ocean as you are going towards the center has its different state of its own motion. You can call it vibratory state. So this vibratory state, we are kind of saying it as this conscious state. But this vibratory state is coming because of the impressions at that layer. So each layer is a kosha. So how many koshas we have? Infinite koshas. But predominantly based on the state as it changes from this to that, then you can say it's a pranamaya kosha. Infinite pranamaya koshas. Like that. So you have many layers. Okay. So each layer has to be dissolved. So when you cross the Pinda Pradesh, how many regions we have in the spiritual anatomy? Huh? Three predominantly. Three predominantly, correct? But how many are actually there?
Countless. 13?
Huh?
22,000.
Okay, so then I can give you a hint. There are 7 regions. Who can name the 7 regions? Who passed the preceptor exam recently?
Right exam, right?
So the Pinda Pradesh is known as the heart region. And the next is, so once you enter into the mind region, mind has sub-regions. Right? Brahmanda Mandal. Mandal means in Hindi, Mandal means region. Okay, even in Hindi, somehow you say like, even the places are known as in the North India, you kind of say it's this Mandal, that Mandal, correct? Yeah. So it is a Mandal means region. Heart region, Pinda Pradesh. Brahmanda Mandal, Parabrahmanda Mandal. Okay, now anyone want to pick it up?
Prapanna Prabhu.
Then? Come on, guys. Central region, the last. Correct? So, each region you can associate with again the koshas. Pinda Pradesh, the 5 points, or our Annamaya kosha. Correct? Pinda means body, the physical existence. Correct? So Pinda Pradesh. And then you go into the Brahmanda Mandal. The next layer. So this basically it's the beginning of the mind region. Then you go into the Parabrahmanda Mandal. So between Brahmanda Mandal and Parabrahmanda Mandal, you are continuously oscillating between those until you stabilize at the Parabrahmanda Mandal. Once you cross the Parabrahmanda Mandal, you're crossing your Pranamaya Kosha. Means all this layers of Pranamaya Kosha is completely dissolved. So it's not, you're not dissolving one kosha here. Understand it like that. The final layer, when it dissolves completely, you enter the Parabrahmanda Mandal. Then comes your Manomaya Kosha. See, those of you know the Ram avatar and Krishna avatar. They say Ram avatar is a Asampurna avatar. You know why? Because Rama is born from the Annamaya Kosha, from the state of Annamaya Kosha. We are all born from Annamaya Kosha. So that's why he has no idea of his avatar abilities. So he acted like a normal human being. He reacted, and everything he has done as a normal human being, even being an avatar Purusha, because his state of existence was from the Annamaya Kosha. Whereas the Lord Krishna born from the Manomaya Kosha. That's why even as a kid he was able to kill the demons who was planning to kill him. At what age he killed Kamsa? At the age of 11. Who is the most fearful warrior of that time? At the age of 11 he killed Kamsa. Why? All these leelas, the mystic things he performed, because he was already at the Manomaya Kosha, at the birth itself. So he has full knowledge of what he is. Okay. So when you cross this Brahmanda Mandal, when you enter into the Manomaya Kosha, what you call is, Babaji calls it, you cross the 10th point. When you cross the 10th point, you entered what is called the Ishvara Mandala. Ishvara Mandala means you guys have learned today Prakriti and Purusha. Where is Prakriti?
Water body.
Huh? Prakriti.
That is
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Inside out.
So the Prakriti is the nature itself. So the nature is within the realm of the Maya, as per the Shankaracharya, correct? So when you cross the Maya, so what is Maya? Within the Maya is in the governance of the nature. There are three bodies govern the nature. The three bodies which govern the nature is the Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the protector, Maheshwara, Shiva is the destroyer. These are the three functionaries of the nature. All functionaries of the nature are working within the realm of the Maya. They don't know anything beyond the Maya. So when we cross this Ishvara Mandala, the 10th point, we're actually getting away from the grips of the Maya. That means our Pranamaya Kosha is completely dissolved. Now we are entering the Manomaya Kosha. So can you imagine the state of Manomaya Kosha now? Okay. So I'll stop here for any comments, questions. Hope you are with me.
Brother, when an impression gets cleaned by cleaning or sitting,
Yeah.
did it get cleaned from all the koshas at a time? And I don't know if it is a valid question, but so it get cleaned from all the koshas, or has to clean at one kosha first, and then after we keep cleaning, it gets cleaned from the other koshas. How is it?
Each impression is associated with one layer only. So you're only cleaning that layer.
As you said, the turtle baby walks to the ocean.
Yeah.
Like that, do we have the human have the consciousness revoke when we get birth?
Of course. Now the consciousness from the previous life you are talking about?
Yeah, like
Previous
that
life
only.
memory?
The turtle baby walked into
So
the
there are
sea.
certain things, how are you able to cry? How are you able to, connect with the mother, and how the baby knows that it has to suck the milk.
Only that one. Okay.
Yeah, there are many. So depending on from what state you got into.
Okay.
Okay. So it all depends. Some people are kind of stuck in the past memory, past life memory, and they cannot recognize the current state of their existence. Such people are, very autistic born.
Can you repeat that?
They're stuck in the past memory. They are not completely into this life. So they're born autistic.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why, they have a different state of perception. Okay. So, I mean, like that. So everything is an impression. So when we are talking about these impressions, the layers and layers of impressions, as it is called. So we are cleaning all this, otherwise it is not possible. The so-called, the regular practice through the Vedantic means just by thinking and thinking and thinking, it is not possible. Then you might ask, then meditation also we are thinking. Meditation is defined as thinking. But that concept of meditation as a thinking is a wrong idea. And Daji tried to correct it many times. He said, the meditation as an English word is an incorrect word for what we are doing. It is dhyana. He has given the full explanation of what dhyana is. So dhyana is to connect with the inner essence. And how do you connect? You don't know what you are connecting with. So all this, even consciousness, when we talk about, we think of consciousness as something which we can perceive. You are perceiving because of the consciousness. So the eye cannot see itself. Can I see myself unless there is a mirror or a camera or something reflecting? Similarly, the consciousness cannot see itself to recognize itself. So then we wonder, a lot of people ask me this question, I don't know how to feel consciousness. I don't know how to feel my soul. As if it is a thing which you can feel. So anything which you can feel, recognize, what is called the awareness, has to be other than consciousness. Do you understand? Do you understand my statement right now? Whatever you think, know, cognize, become aware is other than consciousness. Okay. Okay,
There
go
is
ahead.
a question. Sorry about asking that. So a lot of people say when you are meditating, you should know about your previous birth. It will come automatically. What was you and what you are going to achieve this life. So that's what your meditation thrives you. Is that true or how it is?
Absolutely wrong. I'm trying to be blunt here to make a point, okay? Not trying to say you are wrong. Okay. Suppose if I ask you what you ate yesterday. Maybe you remember. Okay, you have a very good memory. What you ate last week. Okay. So even if you ate a best thing, how does it matter if you remember it today? What value add you are going to bring? Right? So what value add knowing my past life will bring into this life? What I have done yesterday, last week, 10 years back, okay, I know it already, right? In this life at least. So what value it is adding to you by knowing what you did 10 years back?
Nothing.
So what do you think, what value it will add to you if you know your past life?
But we can't change or we
No,
can't
no.
begin.
I'm talking about what is the value add for you if you know your past life.
Just to
It's a
family
curious thing, we are always curious about
family
wrong
thing,
things.
I can announce myself. That's
Right.
it.
So we are
Unless he
always
learns-
curious. We are
unless he
always
learns something from
curious
it.
about wrong things. We should be curious about where we want to reach. Right?
Yeah,
So the curiosity pulls you back unnecessarily.
that's true.
Right? So there is no real value add by knowing your past life. It's another fantasy, like we create. Oh, this master is about this one in the previous life. That master knows his previous life, and somebody claims I am the Duryodhana from the previous life, and somebody claims I am Shakuni from the previous life. How does it matter whoever you are?
Why you have to say that?
Huh? Right? How does it matter? Even if I am Rama from my previous life, what value add am I bringing into this life? I am what I am today. In Telugu we have this saying. My great grandfathers ate ghee every day. What is the proof? Smell my mouth.
We could not hear the at the back.
What is it? Smell my mouth now.
If you want to know my great grandfather, it's not going to, that flavor is not going to stay with me just because my great grandfathers ate ghee. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, brother.
So your previous life has no value add, trust me, whatever you are. Okay, so now going back to the question, so how do you want to understand these koshas? All these layers, as they get dissolved, your conscious state is changing. So is that if I understand this manomaya kosha is this, if I understand this, also the understanding is not really giving me any practical value to it. Unless I keep doing this, practice, understand. See, yesterday I was talking to Lavanya and asked her what is the Sankhya philosophy. Okay. So whatever the Sankhya philosophy is, when it says, okay, there is God, there is Purusha, there is Prakriti, there is this, you have these Indriyas, all this, it kind of laid out what the Sankhya is. But Lord Krishna is the practical man. So he called it Sankhya Yoga. You know why the word yoga is added there? The word yoga is added because it is only, boss, whatever you learned before is only a theory. Now you have to kind of implement it. Practically. So once, somebody asked Chariji, I was there in person when this question happened. What is the difference between an ordinary guy and an enlightened master? He gave a beautiful answer. He said, the master will implement what he knows. The ordinary man knows but does not implement. So here no one is devoid of any knowledge, information. Each one is equally intellect. Each one knows everything. And if you ask somebody, they'll kind of blurt out everything, all the knowledge. But am I implementing it? That's why, Suresh asked a very practical question. How do I reconcile this? How does it help the knowledge of kosha in my practice? Knowledge of kosha in your practice, where it helps is, as your condition is changing, you know that you cross that state by yourself. And by lightening, so as you practice the cleaning and as the transmission is received, when these layers are getting cleaned, you feel becoming lighter and lighter. And once you cross the Brahmanda Mandal, the 10th point, then you know that you have completely overcome, you feel it, you know it, that the Maya, this whole, the emotional drama which goes around us, we are no longer affected by it. So we become very objective after that point. So here, once you cross the pranamaya kosha, you become very objective, because now we have entered the subtle, most subtlest region, state, manomaya kosha. Then once you cross the vijnanamaya kosha, then all your ego is refined. Then you are moving towards the central region. So central region is beyond vijnanamaya kosha. All right. Does that answer your question, Suresh? Long answer. I don't know how to give short answers.
Yeah, practical thing, you have to say the summarize, right? Take sitting, do your practice.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
That's the key.
All right.
So Kalki avatar will evolve from Vijnanamaya Kosha then.
We don't know.
Okay. Because if Rama came from Annamaya Kosha and Krishna came from Annamaya, that's the next one.
Makes sense.
We don't know. So according to the scriptures, even Babaji mentioned Kalki avatar is going to be the most shrewdest person, and any avatar, according to what is his name, from the Tirupati, Varadachari. He said any avatar has only one purpose. It comes with the destructive powers. It doesn't have any constructive powers. I mean, it does have, but it cannot exercise the full constructive powers. So that's why all this, what they passed on to the saints, is the constructive powers. But what they executed are the destructive powers. So every avatar comes with a destructive power. That's why there is a clear distinction between a master and an avatar. Masters have all constructive powers. So that's a fundamental difference.
Yeah. Krishna, Kurukshetra,
Yeah.
Rama, Ravana. Yeah.
Any avatar you take is as only the destructive. Destruction is what they brought. So it's a destructive construction, however you want to call it.
బట్ తెలుగులో వస్తుంది. బట్
చెప్పండి.
అవతారం తీసుకునేదే ధర్మాన్ని నిలబెలపడానికి అంటున్నారు. యుగాంతంలోనే అవతారం తీసుకుంటారు అన్నారు కదా, అలా కూడా ఉందా మరి?
Brothers, others may not understand, so answer in English.
Please, yeah.
No, I'll repeat that question in English. So, if an avatara has come to establish dharma, right? So, it is like this. A lot of times we misunderstood the word dharma. What is dharma? A very loose answer is doing good or acting according to the whatever the social norms. All these are termed as dharma. Correct? So I'll give you all the wrong examples of dharma and then I'll tell you what dharma is. For example, Bhishma. Let's take the story of the Bhishma. At his young age, so Shantanu, his father, became the king after the Bharata, the first king. Bharata said he had 4 sons. He did not appoint none of his sons as a king because he thought they were not qualified. And he made a rule, only qualified should become the king. Okay. Then Shantanu was a regular soldier in his kingdom. He was chosen as a king. And then after that, he thought the Bhishma is a very eligible, even though it is his own, child or kid, son, he named him as the next successor because he was a capable guy. And then he fell in love with this woman. And then she said, my children should become the next successor, king. See, there itself the adharma has started. I mean, in a very regular sense, I'm talking about. How can you promise that somebody who is going to be born in the future is a capable king? How can you promise the kingdom for an unborn child without even seeing any capabilities? So Shantanu, in his wisdom, he realized that Bhishma had made a mistake. So he said, you stay alive. I'll give you the ability to keep yourself alive until you find the eligible king. You know the rest of the story. Yeah. Correct? And then, because he has to protect the kingdom, he made that as a swadharma. And he kind of seen all the atrocious things which were done right in front of him, and he could not oppose it. So now he's created a bonding that this throne I have to protect. So when the Draupadi is getting disrobed in front of his eyes, he could not lift his arm and said, cross me before you touch Draupadi. As a Kshatriya Dharma, he has to protect. But he chose Swadharma over anything else, and he kept quiet. Right? So you see, when you are stuck with something, so Dharma cannot be a bonding. Okay, number one. Then what is Dharma? It's not about doing the right thing or the wrong thing, doing the cruelest thing versus the, helping people and all this. These are only social norms, has nothing to do with Dharma. So the real meaning of Dharma is sustainment of the life, sustenance of the life itself. So all we do must protect, help all life to cherish. All life. Not just human life, not my brother, not my family, not my country. All life.
Last week, yes.
Sustenance of life is Dharma. So when Krishna tried to establish Dharma, he is not trying to kill bad versus good. That is not I don't think at his level there is a discrimination between bad versus good. It is about the life is imbalanced, and it is creating an imbalance, disharmony for the sustenance of life. So for that, he has to establish, and Dharma was established. How? Not through the war. Okay. People think the war is because to establish the Dharma. Then every war has to establish Dharma only, right?
Yes.
So then what happened? Is Dharma established for good after Krishna?
అదే మీరు చెప్పారు కదా డిస్ట్రక్టివ్ కోసమే వస్తారు అని.
So is Dharma established for good ever, forever?
Never.
Huh?
Never.
So he has to bring certain shock, he has to bring certain awakening to the humanity. He did it. He got that awakening. But it is not enough. Because the life is continuously evolving. So there is a one batch evolved, gone, reached that moksha. But the other batch is coming, right? And they have no knowledge of Dharma. So that's how life goes on. It's like keeping the frogs out of the pond.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bhaiya. I know I asked you spiritual anatomy, brother. What topics you spoke?
What? I mean, I spoke to you about Koshas is not part of the spiritual anatomy.
But thank you for connecting it with chakras because we did not take up that topic.
Okay, so I'll take you to the topic. I mean, if you are monitoring time, I cannot do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are monitoring it. But Bhaiya, I was joking because, yeah.
Thank you so much.
But thank you so much, Bhaiya.
All right. So we'll talk about it in our next session.
Sorry
whenever
for
that is.
distracting everyone.
It was
Sorry.
helpful.
Thank you.
Thank
No,
Thank
no,
you.
Bhaiya. Really, it was because we did not connect koshas with chakra. And I think Suresh Bhaiya has been asking me, when I started talking about Sankhya philosophy, he was asking me, you are saying all this, what does it mean to me? What does it mean to me? And I think you
But-
brought it all together
Yeah,
by saying that it is the practice that brings it together.
right.
You want to say something?
No,
You're saying
see,
something?
one thing you have to understand is what is chakras. What is that knots we are talking about? So it is each knot is from one state of kosha connecting to the causal body. It's an intersection between the causal and the kosha.
Soul and the kosha.
Huh?
Causal is the soul.
Oh, it is
Causal
the
is the soul.
connecting point between the soul and the kosha.
Yeah, so that's how I understand it. So that's why each point has its own conscious level, just like how the kosha has its own conscious level state. So understand each point as a different conscious state. We kind of define them as a milestone. Okay. So once you touch that point, cross that point, one major layer is dissolved and the knot is opened. Knot is also dissolved. So now you're moving to the next conscious state. So that's how it should be understood. The knots, points, chakras. And these are not traditional chakras. I'll tell you one important point here and then we can end the session. I know you guys probably had a long day today. So
Guys,
Suresh, listen to this important point and then you guys can go. See, all the traditional chakras are along the spinal cord. From the Sahasrara to Mooladhara at the bottom. So, traditionally, what the yogic systems thought, if you can take the energy all the way from Mooladhara, all the way from the Kundalini, all the way up to Sahasrara, then you achieve the enlightenment or you cross the kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha. But it's like this, when the Ganga is flowing all the way down and merging into the ocean wherever it is, imagine taking all the Ganga back to its origin. It requires enormous effort, enormous energy. And in the process, because all the points are along the spinal cord, all our nervous system is reaching the body along with this spinal cord, right? So now when you are pushing all this energy up, it's going to overflow and shatter your nervous system. So each one who practice these chakra meditations, Kundalini and all, have gone crazy because the practice is shattering the nervous system. Okay, so our teachers in their wisdom, they took the same energy flow from the frontal points. One is there is no nervous system at the frontal point, and then second is as you are moving it up from point 1 to 2, 3, 4 through the front, and you are achieving the same, actually you are going beyond what you can achieve through the regular yogic system. And these are not energy points. Our knots are not energy points like in the Sahasrara as it is flowing down. So now we found a different path. So now we are not going against the flow. We found a different path to reach that state. So that's why our frontal knots were discovered, and it is successfully, without any side effects, without harming our regular life, without impacting our day-to-day life, we can achieve the same thing. Okay, that's number one point about the chakras, knots. And you probably might have discussed about the nadis also. The 3 nadi system, when I get a chance, I'll show you how this whole thing works, right? All the way emerging from the Mooladhara. It's a bottom. From the Mooladhara, the 3 main nadis. Ida, Pingala and Lavani. Sushumna. So now these nadis, as it goes, it spreads into all the organs. The 72,000 nadis you are talking about is originated, and each organ nadis are named separately because their function changes as it reaches the different organs. Okay. But the main nadi, all the way from the top to the bottom, is the Ida and the Pingala. Okay. So, and this is also connected with your vagus nerve. So, all the yogic systems, all the breathing techniques typically is to activate your vagus nerve. Once you activate the vagus nerve, it is going to affect your entire physical balance. Okay, all these breathing techniques are towards that. The so-called pranayama is not about the prana as the breath and all. There is no real prana regulation here. It's a vagus nerve activation. The true prana, in fact, the essence of the prana, what we are dealing with is this transmission is only possible in this heartfulness system. Okay. So this covers basically, so the anatomy, don't think of it like, oh, this is red color, clockwise motion, anti-clockwise motion. Those are all okay, technical details, okay. But look at it from a very practical perspective, how you are going to feel those, how are you going to pay attention to these. See, unless you pay attention, you are not going to learn it. Okay. So I've even told many times how to recognize point B. Just focus in that area. If you feel a little pinching over there, that's your B point. Okay. And just feel little above it, and any you follow right now today when you go home, when you do your point A meditation, feel that point B and feel little above, you will see a dot. Point A. You feel it. Try it. So all these things can be easily understood because we are so much caught up and we tell ourselves, I don't know anything, I cannot find it, my mind is rattling. You're too many worried about. So one last thing I'll tell you. This will be a life lesson for you guys, what I'm telling you right now. If you understand what I'm stating right now, your spiritual life, goes like multifold. When you go into a room, the room is dark. You know where the light switch is. Your hand is on the light switch. And you say, darkness, go away so that I can turn on the light. Will you do that? You don't ask the darkness to go away to turn on the light. Will you do that?
No.
No, right? You just turn on the light, darkness goes away. Same thing, don't worry about all your negative qualities. Oh, I have to get rid of this. Oh, I have to love master. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to. You're always fighting the darkness. Never bringing the light in. Forget what you are. Forget all your negative qualities. Forget what you are not capable of. Bring the light in, which you are meditating on. That's all you need to do. If you understand this, you will progress very fast. Don't worry about what you are. Okay.
Thank you so much, brother, for your time.